In this video, we will see how to compute the expectation and variance for a random variable. Let x be a random variable with the following probability distribution. Value x of a random variable x can be -30, -20, -10, 0, and 10, and the corresponding probabilities of those x values are 500, 60, 20, 500, and 10. We need to compute the expectation of e of x, also called expected value or mean, and variance, var of x, for random variable x. Well, there are two formulas we will be using to complete this assignment. The expected value or expectation will be computed by multiplying every x value we have, and we have 5 of them, by its corresponding probability of that x value to occur. So we're going to multiply -30 by the probability of its occurrence, -20 by its probability, and so on and so forth. And of course, once we do find these products, we're going to add them together. So that's where this process comes from. First value of x times its probability plus second value of x times its probability plus, and so on and so forth. The result is -14.5. So my expected value is -14.5. Now I will use this quantity in the formula for variance, because variance is found by first finding the difference between each x value and the expected value we just found. Then that difference is squared, and then that squared quantity is multiplied by the corresponding probability. As you can see, it's a pretty lengthy process if you need to write it down. Let's look at a few of these. So I take my first value, -30, and I am subtracting with the mean we found to be equal to -14.5. Please notice that double negative going to turn really into a plus. So I need to combine together -30 plus 14.5. That results in 15.5. Don't forget to square that quantity and then multiply by its corresponding probability of 500th. We repeat that for each element. Let's take a look at the next one. -20 has a probability of 60/100th. -20 subtracted with -14.5, when simplified, going to give me -5.5. Don't forget to square and multiply by its corresponding probability. Do that for every element in your random variable distribution. When all of that is done and computed, you should get 104 and 75/100th. The same numbers can be found using TI-84. Let's take a look. So first we need to enter both lists into our calculator. So I'm going to clear lists that I currently have to make space for list 1 and list 2 to be occupied by the data I have. So -30, -20, and the rest of the elements in my first column, my x values, will be entered into first list. Then we're going to enter their corresponding probabilities in the same order. 500th, 60/100th, or 6/10th, same thing. 20/100th, 500th, and 10/100th. Now we will go to stats and use one variable statistics feature on list 1, and frequency will be list 2. We compute and we get mean of -14.5, which we manually got as well. And we found the standard deviation of 10.23474475. Well, our assignment is not to find the standard deviation. Our assignment is to find variance. What can I do? Well, I will remember that variance and standard deviation are related. Variance is a square of the standard deviation, or standard deviation is square root of the variance. Therefore, what I need to do when I find the standard deviation of x, I need to square it, and that will give me variance of x I'm looking for. So let's see how that works. I'm going to make a note of that standard deviation and square that quantity. We should receive a number that is equal to 104.75. It may be slightly varied, as you can see right here. There is a bit of a difference right there, but way far in the 10 millionth place. That difference compared to exact value we found right here at 104.75 is due to the fact that we rounded the standard deviation. It went only to the 8 decimal places, but in fact there are more decimal places that are coming. The calculator just doesn't show more. So because we rounded, there's a slight difference, but you can tell that in reality is 104 and 75 hundredths. So a calculator can be used to avoid all complicated computations like that if you have access to this technology or prefer to use it instead of doing the work manually.